So how does he win over those voters then? Because we've been covering Trump either as president or running for president rather since 2015, and he has been a polarizing figure for almost a decade in politics. He's not one to be known to biting his tongue at all. So how does he appeal to those more centrist voters?
He bites off other people's tongues. I think uh, I
It would
would say
appear
the
that way, yeah.
yes, it certainly does. They don't even have to stick their tongue out very far for him to take a nibble. Uh, I would say the following. I'm not sure whether he has to win them back or convince them that Joe Biden is just not uh, the right choice. It's going to be a negative campaign. And I think Biden has not only low approval, he just doesn't look like a person who physically and cognitively can make it through another 4 years. And that leaves people with the possibility that they would really be voting for Kamala Harris for president. And boy, do they not want to do that.
This has been what many have called a negative campaign on both sides. How then do you see this playing out? Because it seems like both Trump and Biden are not laying out what their second term would look like. They're instead saying, vote for me, I'm better than that guy. So, what does a second term look like for both Biden and Trump? Have they made any policy? Have they laid out their policy at all?
It's a really interesting question. Let me go back to how you can position a negative campaign in a positive way. I've been many years friend of David Axelrod, and David, I thought, ran the most brilliant campaign in the first Obama election. Hope and change, absolutely vacuous, meant nothing, right? It was really vote those bums out who've been in power, George W. Bush and that sort of, don't vote for John McCain. Uh, but let's call it hope and change. I would say that the best argument that Trump could make in that regard is really the old Ronald Reagan argument against Michael Dukakis, which is, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And who among us would say we're better off? Not a lot. And, I mean, that's what the polls say. So I would say that what he'll say is, I'm going to secure the southern border and I'm going to stop all this illegal immigration from having people who run rampant in the streets and burn down buildings and hijack cars. And he'll run a law and order kind of campaign, and he'll probably talk about how during his time in office, inflation was low and employment was very high, and real incomes were going up, and that's been a problem. But the employment has been high, but people still really feel the effects of inflation, which is disconcerting. But they also recognize that they can't buy as much as they could 4 years ago. That means their real incomes have gone down. I think on the Biden side, if you, I've looked at the polls when they say, "What do you think is Biden's biggest achievement?" The majority answer is nobody can answer that. I'm not kidding. They literally say they can't. They have no. And then his second greatest achievement is that he's not Trump. That's honest to goodness truth. So I think what he'll run on is Trump's a danger to democracy and Trump is a danger to women on the abortion issue. They're going to run very hard on abortion, and I think they've been surprised, really, at how strong the pushback has been on illegal immigration among two groups that they really count on: African Americans and Hispanics. And they, especially African American men, are really departing from the Democratic Party. And in places like Chicago, and I'm sure this is true, and you can see it in New York too, there's a lot of anger about, Mayor Adams in New York giving illegal immigrants $10,000 cash cards, and African Americans who are poor are saying, "Hey, where's my cash card?"